Are you struggling with Azure's always-on setting and IP security? You're not alone. Today, we're diving into a common issue that many developers face when running web jobs on Azure. I totally get it. It can be incredibly frustrating when your app is blocking legitimate traffic, especially when it's Azure itself trying to keep your app alive. You're definitely not the only one dealing with this. Here's the situation we're addressing. One user asked how to allow Azure's pings while keeping their app secure. They set up their web config file to block unlisted IPs, but now Azure's pings are getting blocked, cluttering their error logs. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So what's happening here? The always-on setting in Azure pings your app every 5 minutes to keep it alive. However, your IP security settings are blocking these pings, which is why you're seeing those not found errors in your logs. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to adjust your settings to allow Azure's pings without compromising your app's security. To allow Azure's pings while keeping the IP security settings intact, the user should first identify the IP addresses that Azure uses for its internal services. Azure has a range of IP addresses that can be whitelisted. Next, the user can modify the web.config file to include the Azure IP ranges. This will ensure that the pings from Azure are allowed while still blocking unlisted IPs. After updating the web.config file, the user should deploy the changes to the Azure web app. This will apply the new settings and allow Azure's pings to go through. Finally, the user should monitor the error logs to ensure that the Azure pings are no longer being blocked. This will confirm that the changes were successful. Fun fact, Azure has a dynamic range of IP addresses, which means they can change. So always keep an eye on the documentation to stay updated. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution provided by another user involves allowing additional IP addresses to resolve the issue with Azure pings. They suggest adding both the IPv6 address 1 and the IPv4 address 127.0.1 to the allowed list in the web.config file. Here's a pro tip. Regularly review your IP security settings and Azure's documentation to ensure your app remains secure while allowing necessary traffic. And there you have it. By adjusting your web.config file, you can keep your app secure while allowing Azure's pings. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks.